Mrs. Olive pushed Ryder down onto the chair, her eyes shining with seductive dominance. She sat on his lap, her soft body pressed against his. Their breaths mingled. "Ryder, you've waited so long for this." Her voice was hoarse with desire. Ryder didn't answer, just held Mrs. Olive tighter, his hands sliding down her spine, feeling every curve. The sound of their rapid breathing filled the empty space. Welcome to Secret Love Tales channel, If you love emotional and engaging love stories, then come to our channel. Here, we will bring you stories full of surprises, touching and engaging. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any interesting stories. In today's video, we would like to send you a story called The Good Neighbor. Please watch. The small, peaceful village with familiar trails, chirping birds, and vast rice fields is where Miss S. Olive has lived for many years. She is a middle-aged widow. Her husband died a few years ago in an accident. Her life is peaceful, but not without sadness and loneliness. Miss S. Olive is a strong, hard-working woman who always takes care of everything in the house by herself. One fine afternoon, Miss S. Olive was struggling to rearrange her small house. She needed to move some heavy furniture into the house, but her strength was not as good as before. At that moment, Ryder, a strong young neighbor, passed by her house. Ryder was a young man about 25 years old, tall and strong, always enthusiastic in helping people in the village. Miss S. Olive called Ryder over and asked him for a hand. Ryder happily agreed and quickly entered Miss S. Olive's house. When Ryder entered, her eyes and the young man's accidentally met. In that brief moment, Miss S. Olive felt a strange emotion that she had not felt for a long time, a warm but also confusing feeling. Ryder began to help Miss S. Olive move the heavy items into the house. While holding a large box, Miss S. Olive accidentally touched Ryder's hand. The warm feeling from the young man's hand spread throughout her body, making her unable to hide the excitement in her heart. Miss S. Olive suddenly felt her heart beat faster, and thoughts of the young neighbor began to invade her mind. When Ryder finished his work, he said goodbye to Miss S. Olive and left. Miss S. Olive stood there silently watching Ryder's strong figure, unable to stop thinking about the moment just now. These unfamiliar emotions made Miss S. Olive feel confused, but she could not deny that her heart had begun to beat again after many years of loneliness. That evening, Miss S. Olive could not stop thinking about Ryder. The image of the strong young man, his passionate eyes and warm hands, kept appearing in her mind. She wondered if she was just daydreaming too much. But the true feelings in her heart could not be denied. The next day, when Mrs. Olive went out to water the plants in the garden, she met Ryder again. He greeted her with a bright smile, which made Mrs. Olive feel a little lighter. They talked about their daily chores, the weather, and other small things. Every time Ryder smiled, Miss S. Olive felt her heart beat faster. Ryder did not realize the emotions that were going on in Miss S. Olive's heart. He just thought he was helping a kind neighbor. But for Mrs. Olive, every time she met Ryder, her heart beat faster. After her emotional encounter with Ryder, Olive felt her heart was restless. Thoughts of the strong young man kept coming back to her. Olive decided that she could not ignore these feelings and do nothing. She began to make plans to see Ryder more often. One fine morning, Miss S. Olive created a situation that needed help. She arranged some things in the house and intentionally left them more messy than before. Then, she called Ryder to ask him to come and help again. When Ryder heard her call, he quickly agreed and went to Miss S. Olive's house. Ryder entered Miss S. Olive's house with a bright smile. Miss S. Olive greeted him and asked him to move heavy boxes from the living room to the bedroom. While working, Miss S. Olive intentionally touched Ryder's hand every chance she got. Every time she did, she felt a strange but warm feeling running through her body. Ryder ignored these gestures and focused only on his work. When he finished moving the boxes, Mrs. Olive felt it was time to take the next step in her plan. She said to Ryder, Ryder, I often have a lot of things that I need help with. Can I have your phone number so that when I need you, I can call you to help me? Mrs. Olive asked. Ryder smiled and nodded. He gave his number to Miss S. Olive, who quickly saved it to her phone. The feeling of satisfaction and contentment was evident on her face. When Ryder left the house, Miss S. Olive sat down on the chair, looking at his phone number in the contact list. She felt much lighter. Now she had a way to see Ryder more often, without having to wait for random opportunities. That evening, Miss S. Olive couldn't stop thinking about Ryder. The image of the strong, enthusiastic young man with a bright smile kept appearing in her mind. She told herself to stay calm and not show too much emotion, but her heart couldn't help but flutter every time she thought about Ryder. The next day, Olive continued to plan her next meetings. She knew she couldn't rush, but she also didn't want to miss any opportunity to be close to Ryder. Olive felt like she had found a new motivation in life, and she was determined not to let this opportunity slip away. It was late at night. Mrs. Olive sat by the window looking out at the dark sky, her heart filled with thoughts. After a tiring day of work, she felt she needed to do something to thank Ryder, the young man who had helped her a lot in the past few days. Mrs. Olive decided to transfer some money to Ryder as a reward and a thank you. She opened her phone and texted Ryder, "Ryder, have you slept yet?" A moment later, Ryder replied, "Yes, I'm still awake." "Is there anything wrong?" Mrs. Olive smiled when she saw Ryder's message. She replied, "I want to thank you for helping me move things these past few days. I want to send you some pocket money." Ryder read the message and felt surprised. He replied, "Miss, no need. I helped you because I was happy and respected you." "Miss S." Olive insisted, "Just accept it. Consider it as a reward. You're still young and just started working and need savings." Ryder felt that Miss S. Olive was right and agreed to accept the money. Miss S. Olive quickly transferred the money via the banking app. However, instead of transferring a small amount, Miss S. Olive intentionally transferred several times more than Ryder expected. When Ryder received the notification of the transfer, he was very surprised. He texted back immediately, "Miss, this is too much money. I can't accept that much." "Mrs. S." Olive replied with a warm smile on her lips, "Just accept it. I know you've just started working and definitely have a lot of expenses. Consider it as my sincere thanks to you." Ryder read the message with emotion. He had just started working and didn't have much savings, so the money Miss S. Olive sent was really a big help to him. From then on, Ryder felt more sympathetic towards Miss S. Olive, not only because of her generosity but also because of her sincere concern. Ryder texted Miss S. Olive to thank her. "Thank you so much. I will use this money wisely and most usefully. I am truly grateful to you." Miss S. Olive smiled, feeling warmer inside. Not only did she find joy in helping Ryder, but she also felt a special bond between the two. She hoped that this relationship would become better and better. On weekends, Miss S. Olive would call Ryder over to help. This had become a routine that both of them looked forward to. Every time she saw Ryder, Miss S. Olive would always feel happy and excited, and Ryder would also be happy and willing to help her. Every time Ryder came, Miss S. Olive would always find ways to touch him, sometimes holding a box together, sometimes asking him to help pull the curtain. The touches were unintentional but contained a lot of meaning. Ryder began to notice these signs. He was no longer as naive as before, gradually understanding Miss S. Olive's meaning towards him. One afternoon, when Ryder was helping Miss S. Olive move a table from the yard into the house, Miss S. Olive accidentally touched his hand. Her eyes looked at Ryder with gentleness and warmth. Ryder felt his heart flutter. He hesitated for a moment and then said, "Miss Olive, I feel that you are very caring and kind to me." "I am very grateful for that." Miss S. Olive smiled, her heart filled with joy when hearing these words from Ryder. She replied gently, "I consider you as a family member. I want to help you to the best of my ability. Don't be shy." Ryder nodded, feeling warm in his heart. Meetings like this helped him understand Miss S. Olive better, not only her care but also the special feelings she had for him. He felt that he needed to be more clear about his feelings, but he didn't have the courage to say it. Another afternoon, when Ryder was resting after helping Miss S. Olive rearrange the living room, Miss S. Olive brought out 2 cups of tea and sat down next to him. She looked at Ryder with eyes full of affection. "Ryder, I'm so happy that you're helping me. I feel like my life has become much more joyful and meaningful." Ryder felt his heart flutter strongly. He looked into Miss S. Olive's eyes and said, "I'm also very happy to help you. I really like you." Their eyes met as if they both understood what was going on in their hearts. However, neither of them dared to say their deepest thoughts. Ryder felt that he needed more time to think and decide what to do next. On a beautiful weekend, Miss S. Olive decided to invite Ryder to her house for dinner. She prepared a sumptuous meal with delicious dishes that Ryder liked. She wanted to create a cozy and intimate atmosphere so that she could continue to progress in her relationship with Ryder. When Ryder arrived, Miss S. Olive greeted him with a bright smile and invited him into the house. She led Ryder into the dining room, which was beautifully decorated with flickering candles and fresh flowers. Ryder felt surprised and happy. He sat down at the table and thanked Miss S. Olive. Miss S. Olive said, "Ryder, I'm so glad you came. Today, I want to thank you for helping me so much in the past time. Let's have dinner and talk." Ryder smiled and nodded. During the meal, the two chatted happily, sharing many stories about life and work. Ryder felt that Miss S. Olive was very understanding and caring, making him love her more and more. After the meal, Mrs. Olive invited Ryder to sit down on the sofa in the living room. She brought out a bottle of wine and poured them both a glass. Mrs. Olive looked at Ryder, her eyes filled with affection. "Ryder, I want to tell you something. I really like you and feel very happy to have you by my side. Can you feel that?" Ryder was silent for a moment and then replied, "I like you too. You are a very kind and caring person. I am truly grateful to you, Mrs. Olive gently approached Ryder, her eyes shining with genuine emotions. She placed her hand on Ryder's hand, feeling the warmth from him. "I not only see you as a helper, but also as someone special to me. Can you understand my feelings?" Miss S. Olive said, looking into Ryder's eyes. He didn't say anything, just nodded slightly. Miss S. Olive decided to go further. She stood up, walked closer to Ryder, and gently hugged him. Ryder felt the warmth and tenderness from Miss S. Olive. He didn't resist or say anything, just silently accepted. In that moment, Miss S. Olive felt that she had achieved what she wanted. She gently led Ryder into the bedroom where she had prepared for this special evening. Even though Ryder didn't have any objections, he had already accepted Miss S. Olive as his partner. Olive and Ryder's story continued to develop in a direction that became closer and deeper. The feelings in both of their hearts became clearer, and their relationship grew stronger. After that special evening, the relationship between Olive and Ryder became deeper. Olive felt satisfied with the closeness and connection between the two, and Ryder, although not fully aware of his feelings, also felt the importance of Olive in his life. Olive decided that it was time to confess something very important. The next morning, the gentle sunlight shone through the window, making the air in Miss S. Olive's house warm and pleasant. Ryder woke up feeling happier than ever. He knew that today would be a special day, and Miss S. Olive had planned an important conversation. After breakfast together, Miss S. Olive invited Ryder to sit on the sofa in the living room. She looked at Ryder with sincere and open eyes. "Ryder, yesterday was a wonderful night for me. I feel very happy to have you by my side." Ryder smiled softly and replied, "I'm very happy too, Miss S. Olive. I feel very comfortable when I'm with you." Miss S. Olive smiled, took a deep breath, and said, "My child, I have something to tell you. I really like you and feel that you are special to me. I want our relationship to continue to develop, but not just stop at helping each other, but also a deeper relationship." Ryder looked at Miss S. Olive with curiosity. Miss Olive, what do you want to say? Miss S. Olive slowly explained, trying to express her feelings and wishes clearly but gently. You know, I am a woman who has lived alone for many years. My children all work and live abroad, and have not visited me for a long time. I feel there is a void in my life, and you are the one who has made that void warmer. Mrs. Olive closed her eyes for a moment and continued, I want you to be my bed partner. That means you will help me satisfy my physiological needs. I don't want you to feel taken advantage of or disadvantaged. I am very rich and can support you in many aspects of life. Ryder listened to every word from Mrs. Olive, feeling the sincerity and seriousness in her voice. He thought for a moment and replied, Miss Olive, I really appreciate your feelings for me. I understand that this is a very serious proposal. I also have feelings for you and am willing to accept your proposal. Miss S. Olive smiled with satisfaction, her eyes shining with joy. Thank you, Ryder. I am very happy to know that you also have feelings for me. I want us to have a good relationship and not let you feel disadvantaged. I can help you financially and everything you need. Ryder nodded, feeling relieved and happy to know that they both had sincere feelings for each other. Thank you, Mrs. Olive. I am really happy to be able to continue this relationship with you, Mrs. Olive stood up and walked closer to Ryder, gently placing her hand on his shoulder. Then from now on, we will build a special relationship together, where we can support and care for each other. You can rest assured that I will not let you suffer any loss. Ryder felt full of hope and warmth when he heard these words from Mrs. Olive. He knew that this was an important step in their relationship, and he was willing to accept this challenge with sincerity and trust. From that day on, the relationship between Mrs. Olive and Ryder became closer and more intimate. They spent more time together, sharing happy and deep moments. The evenings together were not only moments of lovemaking, but also sincere conversations about life and dreams. Since officially becoming each other's bed partners, the relationship between Mrs. Olive and Ryder became more and more intimate and passionate. Miss S. Olive was in her prime, always longing for Ryder's closeness, while Ryder, with his youthful health and enthusiasm, was always ready to meet all of Mrs. Olive's needs. One night, when the clock had just passed 12 o'clock, Ryder's phone vibrated with a message from Mrs. Olive. Ryder, I miss you so much. Can you come over to my house right now? Ryder looked at the phone for a moment, surprised but also full of interest. He replied immediately, Yes, I will come over right away. Just a moment later, Ryder was standing in front of Mrs. Olive's door. She opened the door, her eyes bright and full of desire. Neither of them needed any words, just their eyes and gentle gestures to understand each other. They quickly entered the bedroom, where Miss S. Olive had prepared for a passionate night. Every time they were together, Miss S. Olive and Ryder enjoyed every moment. Miss S. Olive felt like she was young again. Every time she was close to Ryder, it made her feel full of life. Ryder, with the strength and enthusiasm of youth, always knew how to make Miss S. Olive happy. The two of them were immersed in desire and passion. They found sublimation in this relationship. Miss S. Olive not only found physical satisfaction, but also empathy and sharing of the soul. Ryder's life has also changed a lot since becoming Miss S. Olive's bed friend. Not only did he have an additional source of income from Miss S. Olive's help, but he also felt that life became more interesting and meaningful. Miss S. Olive's late-night calls have become a familiar part of Ryder's life. The warm evenings together made Ryder feel that he was no longer lonely. Whenever Miss S. Olive needed him, Ryder was always ready to be there. He realized that although this relationship was somewhat special and unusual, both of them found joy and satisfaction in it. Miss S. Olive, with her wealth and gratitude, always made sure that Ryder did not suffer any loss. She always cared for and looked after Ryder not only materially but also spiritually. Their relationship, although unconventional, was full of sincerity and mutual understanding. After a period of attachment and closeness, Mrs. Olive increasingly loved and cared for Ryder. She realized that Ryder's life was still lacking and difficult, especially when Ryder worked at a small company with a low salary and had to live in a cramped rented room. With sincere feelings and a desire to help Ryder, Mrs. Olive decided to give him special gifts. One fine morning, Mrs. Olive called Ryder and invited him over. When Ryder arrived, Mrs. Olive greeted him with a bright smile and eyes full of love. "Ryder, I have a gift for you. I know your life is still difficult, and I want to help you feel more comfortable." Ryder was surprised but also felt warmed by Mrs. Olive's concern. "Miss Olive, thank you so much. I really don't know what to say." Mrs. Olive led Ryder into the living room, where a large gift box and a Ryder envelope were on the table. "Here is some money and some gifts that I have prepared for you. Please open them and see." Ryder opened the gift box and was surprised to see a new phone and a brand new motorbike key inside. Ryder opened the envelope and saw a large sum of money, enough for him to cover his living expenses and have some savings. "Auntie, these gifts. I really don't know how to say it enough. Thank you so much." Mrs. Olive smiled gently and took Ryder's hand. "You don't need to thank me so much. To me, you are very important. We are like husband and wife, just living in two different places. I want you to have a better life and not have to worry about finances." Ryder was touched by Mrs. Olive's sincere concern. He understood that Mrs. Olive not only considered him a bed partner, but also considered him an important part of her life. With the money and gifts that Mrs. Olive gave, Ryder's life became more comfortable. He could buy the things he needed, live a more comfortable life, and no longer worry about daily expenses. He could also visit Mrs. Olive regularly without any problems. Ryder felt that his life changed significantly. Every time he went to Mrs. Olive, he felt her warmth and love. The two continued to maintain a special relationship, sharing the joys and difficulties in life. Although their relationship was very special, Olive and Ryder both knew that they needed to keep it a secret to avoid gossip from neighbors and acquaintances. Olive was always careful in her approach and only invited Ryder to her house at discreet times. This kept their relationship in good condition without causing any trouble. Time flies. It has been 5 years since the special relationship between Mrs. Olive and Ryder began. During that time, their relationship not only did not fade but also became stronger and deeper. Ryder worked hard and made constant efforts in his work. Thanks to his perseverance and dedication, he achieved many successes in his career, was promoted to the position of department head at the company, a position that gave him a lot of responsibility but also full of development opportunities. Ryder felt satisfied and proud of what he had achieved. Not only did he have a career advancement, but he also had a woman who cared for and supported him wholeheartedly. Thanks to his thrift and good financial management, along with the constant support from Mrs. Olive, Ryder was able to buy his own house. The new house was not only a place to live, but also the result of many years of hard work and effort. Mrs. Olive always supported him not only financially but also mentally. She regularly transfers money to Ryder to help him settle down and not have to worry about daily expenses. The relationship between Mrs. Olive and Ryder became closer and closer. They always found joy and comfort when they were together. Ryder met Mrs. Olive's needs wholeheartedly and sincerely, and Mrs. Olive always knew how to care for and look after Ryder, making him feel loved and appreciated. In the peaceful evenings when Ryder came to Mrs. Olive's house, they enjoyed delicious meals together and shared the joys and sorrows of life. They were not only bed partners but also companions who shared and supported each other. After 5 years of hard work and success in his career, Ryder found his life partner. Ryder's wife also worked in the same department and was his subordinate. The two met, gradually developed feelings for each other, and finally decided to get married. Ryder's life became busier but also full of happiness. The couple lived together in their newly bought house, sharing the joys and difficulties of daily life. Although Ryder was married, his relationship with Olive continued to be a secret. They understood that their feelings were special and difficult to share with others. Olive still cared for and supported Ryder, and Ryder still responded to Olive's needs with dedication. Ryder knew that keeping this secret was necessary to protect his family's happiness and avoid unnecessary trouble. Every time they met, they were very careful and discreet. Ryder and his wife live happily together. Ryder's wife is understanding, caring, and attentive to her husband. Together, they build a happy and stable family. Every day, Ryder feels peace and happiness with his wife. However, sometimes Ryder also feels worried about keeping his relationship with Mrs. Olive a secret. He does not want to hurt his wife and always tries to let things happen naturally, without causing any suspicion. Even though he is married, Ryder continues to meet Mrs. Olive secretly. They chose the right time and place so that no one would find out about their relationship. Every time they met, they cherished every moment and shared their sincere feelings. Mrs. Olive understood that Ryder had a family and always respected that. She never forced or pressured Ryder, but only wanted to keep a part of the special feelings they once had. Ryder and his wife live happily together, building a warm and stable family. Ryder's work is getting better and better. Family life becomes more comfortable and happy. Ryder's wife always knows how to take care of and pay attention to her husband, creating a peaceful home. Mrs. Olive still lives in the old house, enjoying her independent life. Although she is past her prime, Mrs. Olive still feels very young and full of life. The relationship between Olive and Ryder continued in secret. Whenever she felt the need, Olive would send Ryder simple messages, but filled with concern and a desire to see him again. Ryder was always ready to respond and come to her whenever he could, even if it was just to chat and share everyday stories. Life went on as usual. Ryder and Mrs. Olive kept their meetings private, cherishing every moment together. They understood that this relationship had to be kept private to protect Ryder's life and happiness. Every time they met, they were very careful and discreet. Mrs. Olive never pressured Ryder and always respected his privacy. Ryder felt grateful for Mrs. Olive's understanding and affection. In the end, Ryder and Olive's relationship remained a secret forever. They shared special moments together and cherished every moment together. Although life changed a lot, their love and care for each other never faded. Ryder continued his family life, worked hard, and spent time with his wife and children. Olive remained independent and happy with what she had. They understood that this relationship was an indispensable part of their lives and they would forever keep it a secret. Ladies and gentlemen, our story today will stop here. Thank you for taking the time to watch the entire video. Hopefully the details and emotions in the story have brought you relaxing, interesting, and meaningful moments. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below the video to let me know your opinion. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any stories in the future. Each of your subscriptions and likes will motivate Thwylan and the program's production team to create more attractive videos. And now, see you in the next videos. Wish you a wonderful day.